What did your boss say to you that resulted in you immediately resigning? I was working as a receptionist at this small animal clinic for 3 years. I'd been reliable too. Never called out sick, stayed late when we got emergency cases, even came in on my days off when other staff had emergencies. Dr. Monroe seemed to appreciate it. He'd even mentioned maybe training me as a vet tech eventually. Then Friday morning happened. I was getting ready for work when my phone rang. It was my mom, and she was sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. My younger brother Daniel had been driving to work that morning when some drunk driver ran a red light. He didn't make it. I collapsed on my kitchen floor. Daniel was only 22. We'd just had dinner together 2 days before, talking about his plans to propose to his girlfriend next month. He was supposed to come over Sunday to help me move my couch. Now he was gone. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold my phone. I texted Dr. Monroe through my tears. Emergency in family. My brother just died in a car accident. I can't come in today. I figured he'd understand. I mean, it's my brother. I expected maybe a simple, "So sorry for your loss, take the time you need." But his response made me freeze. "Sorry to hear. Take 20 minutes to get yourself together, then get in. We're short-staffed and clients are waiting." I stared at the text thinking maybe I was misreading it. 20 minutes? My brother just died and he wanted me there in 20 minutes? I called him thinking maybe he misunderstood. He picked up sounding annoyed. "Yeah? Dr. Monroe, I don't think you understood. My brother was killed in a car crash this morning. I can't come in today." He let out this long sigh like I was inconveniencing him. "You said your brother passed, right? Okay, but you're not the one in the hospital. I need someone to man the desk. Just come in and you can grieve after your shift ends at 6. I was crying so hard I could barely speak. "I can't come in. My parents need me. I can't even think straight right now." That's when his voice got harsh. "Listen, Ava, I didn't hire you to think. I hired you to show up and do your job. You're not bleeding. You're not in a coffin. So either you want this job or you don't. What's it gonna be?" The line went quiet. I was sitting on my floor in my pajamas, my brother's blood still being cleaned off some highway, and this man was telling me to come file paperwork and answer phones. Then something inside me just snapped. All those late nights I'd stayed to help with emergencies, all those times I'd covered for other staff who called out for hangovers or dates, all those times he'd praised my dedication. None of it mattered the second I needed basic human compassion. "You're right," I said, my voice getting steady for the first time all morning. "I don't want this job." I hung up and immediately blocked his number. Then I drove to the clinic, used my key one last time, cleaned out my locker, and left my key on his desk with a note that just said, "Effective immediately." The worst part wasn't even his cruelty in that moment. It was realizing how quickly I went from being a valued team member to completely disposable. That sentence kept echoing in my head for weeks. I didn't hire you to think, like I was just some robot who should show up and function regardless of what was happening in my actual life. 3 weeks later, while I was still job hunting, Dr. Monroe called from a different number. Apparently 2 other staff members had quit after hearing what happened, and he was desperate. He offered me a raise to come back. I told him I wouldn't work for him again if he paid me double. Then I hung up and blocked that number too. The next job I got was at a bigger veterinary hospital across town. Same pay, but when I told my new boss about why I'd left my previous job during the interview, she looked horrified. She said, "Family always comes first here. Always. We're human beings first, employees second." 6 months later, when my grandfather had a heart attack, I nervously called to ask for time off. My new boss immediately said, "Go, be with your family. Don't even think about work right now." And she meant it.